Students, today let us start this new lesson, animal classification. Okay, so in this lesson we will be studying about history of animal classification, new system of animal classification and kingdom Animalia. Okay, now can you recall? So you have studied about this, something about this in the previous standards, isn't it? So just recall this, which criteria are used for classification of organisms. So which criteria you are going to use? Okay, you know there are many criteria which can be used for the classification of organisms, right? See, the main criteria of the five kingdom classification were cell structure. So, cell structure was considered for the classification. Then, body organization was considered. You know, the organization, that is the body organization, is different in different organisms, isn't it? So, this criteria was also considered. Then, mode of nutrition is going to be different in many organisms, reproduction and phylogenetic relationships. So this, in this five kingdoms classification, bacteria was also included in kingdom Monaria. Now you have studied the classification of living organisms in earlier classes. The living organisms present around us are mainly plants and animals. So the classification, okay, we have studied in your previous standards you have studied the classification of living organisms. Now see, the living organisms present around us are mainly plants and animals. We have studied the criteria of their classification. With the help of that, complete the following chart. So you have studied that living organisms, they are classified into plants and animals. Now with the help of this chart, okay, you are going to complete this chart with whatever you have studied in previous standard. Now let me just guide you, okay. So you are going to write the chart. See, living organisms, they are classified into, I'll show you, wait. Okay, see, living organisms are classified into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, so prokaryotes and eukaryotes, it is classified. Okay, see here prokaryotes and eukaryotes, right? Yes, so and here it's going to be eukaryotes. Right? Yes. Now see, this prokaryotes, okay, they are classified into kingdom Monera. Yes, and the, see, I'll show it to you. It's not clear. See, okay. Now living organisms, they are classified into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Just will write P and U. So it will become clear. It will not, that is, we can explain, I'll be able to explain it to you properly. Now eukaryotes, you know, it is classified into unicellular organism and multicellular organism. Now you know unicellular organism means, the word is telling you that the organisms is made up of only one single cell. Multicellular organisms means more than one cell. Okay, now see this unicellular organisms, okay, in unicellular organisms kingdom Protista is included. Okay, so kingdom Protista is included in this kingdom, that is unicellular organisms. Now multicellular organisms which are there, okay, they are classified into with cell wall Okay, so here with cell wall, and here it is without, okay, without cell wall. Okay, so now see with cell wall. Okay, so what you are going to write over here with cell wall? Autotrophs, it's divided into autotrophs and heterotrophs. Now autotrophs means, okay, autotrophs, and here it is heterotrophs. Now autotrophs means what? Yes, the organisms which can prepare their own food. You know, only plant take, that is the organisms from plant can prepare their own food, right? Yes, plants can prepare their own food. Why? Because there is presence of chlorophyll in them, right? Yes. Now see the and this with cell wall, it's divided into autotrophs, and here it is heterotrophs, means which depend on others for their food. So in this kingdom fungi, okay, yes, is included. Now without cell wall, okay, so here you know, okay, see here it is without, okay, without cell wall. So without cell wall, this kingdom Animalia exists. Now can you recall how are the plants classified? So see, while there are many ways to structure plant classification, one way is to group them into vascular and non-vascular plants, then seed bearing, okay, and spore bearing, and angiosperm and gymnosperm. We have studied about this. Plants can also be classified as grasses, herbaceous plants, woody shrubs, and trees. So we have studied the plants classification in last year. It helped us to understand the diversity of plants around us. So we studied about this plants classification in year previous standard, 9th standard, isn't it? And that is why you understood how there are wide varieties of plants, that is there is diversity in the plants around us. You must be looking varieties of animals around you. Some animals are too small, whereas some are too big. Now you know, just like plants, okay, you studied about the varieties of plants, that is diversity of plants. Now see, this year you are going to study about animals, right? Now see, you must be looking varieties. Yes, around you, you see many varieties of animals around you. Some animals, you know, they are too small, right? Yes, some animals they are too small, and some animals they are very big animals. Now see, some animals are terrestrial. Yes, you know, see, some animals that are too small and some are too big. Some animals that are terrestrial, some are aquatic, right? Yes, so terrestrial means what? Like birds and all. They are, that is they live on land or fly in the atmosphere, you know. And aquatic animals means what? Those which live in water. Some animals crawl on land, right? Yes, some swim, you know, some animals you have seen, they crawl on the land like snakes and all. Some swim in water, yes, like fishes, whereas some fly in the air like birds. Some animals have scales on skin. You must have seen now, some animals they are having scales on their skin, whereas some have feathers or hairs. So you know, fishes they have scales on the skin, but you know, some animals like birds they are having feathers, and some animals they are having hairs like bear, this lion and all. So in this way there is huge diversity among the animals too. According to recent studies, estimated number of animal species on the earth is approximately 7 millions. Okay, so how many types of animal species are there on the earth? Earth is quite big, so around approximately 7 million species are found on the earth. It is impossible to study each and every species. Now if there are 7 million species, how can it be possible to study about each species, right? Now it is just impossible to do this. However, if groups and subgroups of animals are formed depending upon the similarities and differences, it will make it very easy to study such vast variety of animals, isn't it? Now see, if groups are made and subgroups are made of the animals, then it will become easier to study about them, to study such a vast variety of animals. So how you are going to make the groups and subgroups? It depends upon the similarities and the differences. If you go to a mall is quite big. So if you want something, if it is not arranged properly, and you want some cosmetic thing, and it will become impossible for you to go and find them. But if in the malls, they make separate compartments for each of them. Grocery separate, then cosmetics separate, then soap items separate, yes, provisional items separate. So what will happen? Clothes items separate. So it becomes easier, isn't it, to find anything you want. So in this way, what happens is, the animals also, depending upon the similarities and differences, that is, groups and subgroups are made, and that is why it becomes easier to study such vast variety of animals. Now, formation of groups and subgroups of animals depending upon similarities and differences among animals is called as animal classification. Now see, this definition of animal classification, very important. Formation of groups and subgroups of animals depending upon similarities and differences. So I just now told you how groups and subgroups are made. So just like that, groups and subgroups of animals also are made. So how these groups and subgroups are made? Depending upon the similarities and differences. So how they are made? Depending upon the similarities and depending upon the differences among animals, animal classification is done. Now see, history of animal classification. So behind something there is always a history. So let us study about this history. Time to time, different scientists have tried to classify the animals. Greek philosopher Aristotle was the first to perform the animal classification. So see, different scientists, they tried different methods to classify the animals. Now this Greek philosopher Aristotle, he was the first to perform the animal classification. Aristotle classified the animals according to the criteria like body size, habits and habitats. So this Aristotle, he classified the animals. How did he classify the animals? He used some criteria. Which criteria he used? He used the body size, the habits of the animals and habitats, means in what type of environment they live. So using these three criteria, he classified the animals. Further, as per the new developments in science, references were changed and thereby the criteria of animal classification too. Now what happened? This Aristotle, he made some classification depending on these three criteria. But as the progress was made, okay, as there was development in science, the references changed and criteria for the animal classification also changed. So classification proposed by Aristotle, we call it as artificial method. Now besides Aristotle, artificial methods of classification was followed by Theophrastus, Pliny, John Ray, Linnaeus, etc. Then later on natural system of classification was followed. Okay, so this afterwards what happened? Later the natural system of classification, this was followed. Now this classification, natural system of classification, this was based on body organization, types of cells, chromosomes, biochemical properties. Okay, so that is this criteria were used. Which criteria? Body organization, types of cells, chromosomes and biochemical properties. By the time system of classification based on evolution was also brought into practice. It was used by Dobzhansky and Mayer. Recently, Carl Oers has also proposed the animal classification. So as the progress took place, okay, in the field of science, okay, the artificial, that is the classification method also was changed. Now this that is the classification made by Aristotle was now called as artificial method. Okay, after that many scientists they proposed the classification, and then nature, that is natural system of classification was followed. Now this classification, natural system of classification, this was based on which criteria? Body organization, types of cells, chromosomes and biochemical properties. Now the recent method, okay, was proposed by whom? Yes, Carl Oers. So he proposed the animal classification. Now see, benefits of animal classification. Study of animals becomes convenient. So what is the benefit of this animal classification? First point, the study of the animals becomes convenient. Why? Because there are lots and lots of animal species. Study of few animals from a group helps to understand about that entire animal group. So if you study few animals from that group, you are going to understand the entire animal group, and it's also going to give an idea about animal evolution. Means what? How animal evolved, who are the ancestors of those animals. That idea is also got. Animals can be easily identified, so you can easily identify the animals with proper, correct accuracy. It helps to understand the relationship of animals with other living organisms. So you will understand the relationship also. It helps to understand the habitat of each animal and its exact role in the nature. So what else you will understand? The animal, in what type of atmosphere it can live. So, and what is the exact role in the nature. It helps to understand various adaptations shown by animals. So if the animal has to survive, then it has to adapt to the existing environment, isn't it? So this classification, it is going to help us to understand the adaptations shown by those group animals. Now see, traditional method of animal classification. So this animal, they are classified into two, that is non-chordates and chordates, according to the presence or absence of the notochord. Okay. So this traditional method of animal classification, which is that is the non-chordates and the chordates, then the classification of non-chordates, the classification of chordates. Okay, so let us study about it in the next video.